So we're talking about this idea of balance and personal mythology. Why is personal mythology important? Why is transformation important? Why is balance important? And as a business executive, a woman just like yourselves, I come to the realization that we live inside the myth, inside the story that we tell ourselves. And perhaps sometimes we don't even see that story. We may not even be aware of this story that we live inside. But the elements of the mythology that the story represents keep coming up, keep showing up in our behavior, in our everyday life. In fact, this myth that we live inside drives us day by day, moment by moment. And so as a business executive and a person of a lot of responsibility, particularly in business, it's important that we all realize that we need to be able to make decisions, and not just decisions, be able to make good decisions. And the decision is not just some thought that happens in your head. It's not just something that we think of, that create that magnificent idea. It's that the result of that idea that becomes manifest in the world by our ability to influence others so they can implement, they can bring up this idea and make it real and manifest. I grew up in Moscow, and I was brought up in the family of architects. And my father always told me that I must do things that I need to do to become successful. And my mother, who was a pianist and an architect, always told me that I have to be a particular way, that I am a nice girl and I have to do particular behaviors, that I have to know how to draw, how to sing, how to sew, how to dance, and be happy. And my grandmother used to babysit me through those long winters when I was sick, and she used to tell me stories. And one of the stories was about the man who was crossing the desert. And the man lost his trade, his fortune, his family, and he was so devastated, and he was wandering in the desert all by himself, and he had this nice robe. It was obvious that he was some kind of a lord, but he was all by himself. So he was walking down, trying to find his way in the desert, all thirsty and hungry and tired, and at some moment he stopped, and he blinked his eyes, and he realized that there's a tree in front of him. And so he looks up at the tree, and amazed, there's a tree, but it's seemingly dead. There's no life to the tree. The tree has branches, but they're also bright and sort of dry, and they're also drab, and there's no leaves, no fruits, no anything. So the Lord was tired, and nonetheless he just sat down. He was so desperate, and he just sat down and started to talk. And as he talked, he was seemingly unburdening himself into a tree. How he came to being this way and what happened to him. And so he was talking way into the night, and as he muttered the last words, I fell asleep. The sun came up, and he opened his eyes and realized that the first thing that he saw was the live tree that came to life, the branches that had leaves on them, that had fruit on them. And then he grabbed one of the fruits and bit into the fruit and felt the sweetness, the juiciness of this fruit. And all of a sudden he felt that there's energy surging through his body. And he got up to his feet and declared to himself that I'm ready, I am ready to go on. And so there he goes. As he comes back to town, he resumes his lifestyle, he finds his fortune again, and everything begins to go on seemingly smoothly for him. He had all this energy, and he became open and wise, so people started coming to him. So one morning, a dirty dervish just walks into his chambers, and his story is so devastating. So the Lord invites him to sit and brings him tea and food, and he introduced a piece of that desert fruit to him. He said, I offer you something that can spark a life in you. Take it, do it, eat it, and experience it, so you can begin your life again, so you can be satisfied, and so you can enjoy your life. So the dervish takes the bite, and so all of a sudden he feels the energy surging through his body. He jumps up to his feet, and just like the Lord before says, that he declared himself, I am ready to go on. I am so ready for the rest of my life. As he runs out of the chambers. And now this may sound strange, but when I sit across from business people doing this work, they know, they understand the idea of success, how to win, how to produce, how to succeed. And yet this idea of success is really about balance and really about satisfaction. So balance is about keeping focus, not compromising your integrity. And balance is really a peace of mind, connection within yourself. We're living in the society that's used to separating doing and being, and having and being, and it doesn't make sense. Once you realize that you exist, and then you step into the totality of this experience, and experience yourself in the fullness of this magnificent uniqueness, then comes balance. It begins to be manifest in life in the most profound way. And don't we all want balance?